What's up, heathens? How y'all doing? I'm the Godless Engineer, and I critically analyze apologist claims to give you the best arguments and information so that you can stand up and use your voice. Although today I'm here with the Apostate Sisters, Nancy and Patty, and we are going to be reading some horribly toxic comments. And we're gonna be going kind of a round robin thing of we're each gonna read one and we'll all get the chance to commentate on it. But this is more about, I guess, how to deal with these kinds of toxic comments and like how do we as creators sort of like when we read this, how do we take them? And I mean, I've got a very satirical take on all of my comments, but this is the first time that anybody's been like, hey, why don't we read comments together? So this is I'm always interested to hear how like other creators and other atheists in general like to deal with these kind of toxic comments. So like I'm just wondering, whoever can go first, but like how, like whenever you receive like a toxic comment or some kind of shitty thing that somebody says, what kind of goes through your mind initially whenever you get that?
Take it away, Pats. You're the one that normally responds to them since you have the Apostate Sisters label. So yeah, what do you normally do?
I mean, I honestly struggle with it. It's terrible. Like in my body, it's like, oh, I'm being judged, like all of the little kid being afraid of being made fun of at school, like all of that is still kind of present, but I can hold space for myself about it now. And I know for a fact and lean on the idea that the people making these toxic comments were broken by the religions that were put on them. And so, right, like I can hold space for little me and know that about them and try to, like I know we're being funny today, but ultimately the goal is for people to not be bigots, not be rude to marginalized people, not treat women badly, all of those things. And so if that's our goal, that's how I usually like remind myself of things when it's tough.
Right. And I'm not exactly sure how this topic had come up, John. I think maybe we were interviewing you at the time and we were talking about some of the terrible things that people had said on your channel. And we just kind of had this idea, like, why don't we like just turn that into an episode? And so we can all kind of like heal and laugh about it and maybe dissect it a little bit. And so, yeah, that's what we're doing today. I would say our comments are probably nowhere near what you get, just from the couple that you have read to us. But with us, it's far more subtle. And that's why we kind of wanted to break down, because I think, well, every content creator gets it. Every person anywhere will always have negative comments, feedback. People, even resort to talking about people's looks when they have nothing else to go by. And that is hurtful to a lot of people, especially the people that are more vulnerable. And I think that shuts their voices down, and we don't want those voices to be shut down. We want people to be bold. We want them to be confident and expressive and be able to tell their story. We want to hear from those voices. And it's the people like this who leave comments like that just insult and then they fuck off while they hide cowardly behind a computer screen anonymously. And then we never hear from them again. And I want to get the point across today that these people's opinions should not matter to us, because who are they to us? Yes, they've got their traumas. Let's get through this and be able to be our authentic selves and not be afraid of people trying to shut us down, because that's their goal. Let's not do it.
Absolutely.
I totally agree with both of y'all stances on this, and I think that it's awesome the way that you guys view this. I know for me personally, in my own background, I grew up really caring about what other people thought about me, their criticisms towards me. I always tried to like not rock the boat. I tried to be liked by people and everything. Like I really felt like if somebody didn't like me, that was just a total stab in my chest or something like that. And so like I grew up to get a better sense of like that delineating line between, people that I should care about. Like if somebody has a bad opinion about me, like I care about their opinion about me. And then of course there's like literally everybody else. And I really don't care about like the everybody else. Like I really don't care about whether or not somebody likes me or not, or like I've even done it to where I have been heavily criticized by a lot of people, even in our own community, for responding to not going after or attacking, but like just simply responding to, or at least being a bit religiously affiliated blind, right? Because like there are people even in our own camp that I disagree with, and I always make a note to respond to those people in our group. And so it's not just religious people that I respond to or I criticize, it's people in the atheist community that I also criticize. And so that has gotten a number of like really bad reactions. The worst ones I haven't actually included today. So what Patty has seen and what Nancy will see is actually not as bad as some of the things that I've gotten in the past.
Darn it. I wanted to see those.
Well, and here's a question. So I've turned off all moderation on our channel. Like I don't have anything set other than what YouTube chooses, but I get the sense that YouTube has some of its own rules and will take things out before I even see it. For example, there was one episode where I was talking about being ethically non-monogamous, and somebody put a comment that was like, here you are talking about promoting cheating. You better watch your back. Like, holy crap, but I never saw it. Like one person saw it and told me about it, and I could never find it. So all I can think is that YouTube's like, that's a death threat. We're going to take that out of there,
Well, YouTube does that with certain even terms. I think there's been a few comments that, we just never saw, John, because maybe, somebody called us Nazis or something. There was something in there, and maybe it was something racist against one of our guests. If somebody insults one of our guests, we just take it out of there. That's absolutely not necessary. We want people to feel like they have a safe space when they come to us too, including like transphobia and bigotry, things like that.
Absolutely.
Some of it's not even worth it. If they're not even adding to the conversation, sometimes it's just not worth keeping. But some of them we do actually engage with. We kind of want to have a dialogue back and forth. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't.
Well, and you made a good point earlier, Nancy, about the standing up and using your voice. And I do feel like if shitty comments are left there and allowed to stand fully, that makes it a not safe place for people who are on our channel for the actual healing process. If they're afraid that their comments of appreciating the healing or their version, or their process of healing will somehow be made fun of or downplayed, or they'll get attacked, like that can make people afraid to even engage. And so I can't stand to have that shit on the channel. It doesn't belong there.
Right.
Yeah. I generally don't do much moderation on my channel. Although if I see comments, I either on any of my social media that I can control the comment section on, if I see something that comes through that's very can be very harmful to people of marginalized groups, or just anything like that, like those are the ones that I take down. And I generally what I'll do is I'll message, like on Facebook you can actually personally message a person like through your page and be like, hey, look, the using the hard R word here is not good. We don't allow that. If you can rephrase it to take it out, I'll unhide your message. Normally I get a, fuck off, motherfucker, or even worse than that kind of thing. And so I'm like, oh, okay, block. And, that's pretty much how it goes. And then I'll even sometimes put up like little sort of like what I call feeler posts, right? I'll put up a post that I know is going to piss off the bigots, and it attracts bigots like, flies to honey. And I just, anybody that's I'm a little bit more lenient on those posts, but those that come out and they're just like totally like full on bigoted and is like dangerous, I'll block them from the page. And that kind of helps me grow my block list of like people that I don't want interacting with my audience, because, there are people that disagree, and they can disagree without being, really extremely hateful. And so it's like, I want to foster those conversations.
Question, John, do you actually have some people that leave nasty comments and they just keep coming back? Because usually for Patty and I, they just leave a nasty comment and then they fuck off. We never see them again. So you have ones that actually do engage?
There's one guy that I was interacting with actually today on the Facebook page. He always comments. He's always a dipshit, but he's never hateful to the point where I feel like he needs to be blocked. And so I'm like, see, here's the thing. I'm fine with it because of the fact that there are people on the page that immediately come in and serve him his ass on a plate. And so like, I think
shout out to our crew over here. Yeah.
I think it's great to have a good show of people come up in the comments and see that people are pushing back against that kind of like hate and discrimination and everything. And so like, as long as there's somebody there saying something, which normally I'll say something to start it off, and then other people sort of come in and have a conversation. But it's as long as people aren't too violent or too extremely bigoted, I usually let it ride, as long as it's not going to be detrimental to people. And the feeler post that I was talking about, it was really simple. It was a trans like flag background that just said trans women are women, trans men are men. Mm-hmm. If you disagree with either of these, then the original post says, then you're probably a bigot. And like a few years ago when I first made that, like, I think the probably was important because it's like, maybe you're just ignorant of this particular topic, kind of thing. And so like, it would be a chance for you to learn. But I think now as the topic is popular, like in the popular media and everything, there's just no excuse anymore for it. It's like, you're definitely transphobic if you disagree with these two statements. And so it's like, that post actually, it invigorated me, or it motivated me to pull down Vice Rhino's trans research. He's got a link tree out there that's got a whole bunch of like trans and gender and sex research. And I pulled down every single scientific paper that he had listed up there. And I made a Chat GPT model specifically for asking trans questions.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I'm planning on like announcing it or whatnot after I've got a bunch of trans friends that are sort of looking through it and everything and making sure that it's not going to do something like crazy. But I'm planning on putting it out there so that it can be a resource for people if they have questions or they need to answer questions.
That's really amazing. Good. Yeah, Patty and I were just having a similar conversation just the other day too. That like, just because we don't believe in these gods, deities, supernatural, whatever, it doesn't mean you're not a bigoted person either. I remember Arden Hart, she just did a lecture up in Minneapolis at the, was it Atheist Alliance? Is that correct? We missed that one.
American Atheists.
Thank you. And she was talking about, how to avoid like transphobia within the atheist community. So yeah, it happens. It's a whole mindset. We think it's all connected, but it's not necessarily. It's kind of built into our society and the patriarchy and all that. Hey, everyone.
I do think the deconstruction processes can go together, though. I think if you've deconstructed from a faith system, some of those same thinkings can help get you out of bigoted ways of thinking about gender and sex and race and all of those things.
Yeah. There is one question I want to answer before we get to the comments, and that's the humanity who says, cool. How do I find Rhino's links? So if you just type into Google Vice Rhino trans research, that's how I found it. So you can just search that up on Google and you can find it. It's a link tree. So you're going to get a page that's just like miles long of like, papers. Now, the thing is that he links directly to where the papers are hosted. So like what I had to do is I actually had to go through like Sci-Hub, which is this scientific research paper sort of unblocker that you can get to a number of these. Some of them contain free downloads that you can get to. So if you have trouble getting to any of his papers, I have all of them. All the ones that I could get access to. I have all of them here. So if you just send me an email with which one you want, I'll just go and find it for you, and I'll get it to you. So my email is john@godlessengineering.com. You can email me there, or you can message me on Facebook at Godless Engineer. It's Godless Engineering on Facebook, but you just get in touch with me and I'll get you whichever paper you need.
And John's contact information. Here comes a toxic comment from some troll lurking right now. It's coming for you.
I'm ready for it. I'm totally ready, especially for y'all's comments here, which I haven't looked through all this, but I have to say this is phenomenal. This is a phenomenal response right here.
I haven't even read through that whole fucking thing, but dude.
No, why would you read through this? There is zero reasons to read through this.
Unless, are we reading this whole thing right now?
No.
I mean, I don't know. I can read a little bit, like part of the top of the second, that second comment says, "Listen to me closely. You are all just want Christ."
Yeah, that's really what we need right now. Yeah,
I knew the content wasn't super important here, but more the volume was worthy of checking out. So.
I love that the whole thing is in all caps, because Herbert W. Armstrong, who is the leader of Worldwide Church of God, the doomsday cult we were raised in, he always underlined things and used punctuations and capitalized. And so this is really funny. Somebody advocating for Herbert Armstrong in sort of the same language.
Yeah. Okay. And then here, I feel like this is going to be great in my hick voice.
Do it. Yes.
That is the longest fart I've ever heard. That was almost poetry.
I get sassy with my replies. This is back in the day when I actually had time to comment back, but I still didn't read all day.
Yeah, I get sassy too. You'll see it when we get to my comments. Like I've got some of my responses in there, and like one of them is literally it was a very homophobic comment, and I was just like, "Thank you." This was a big brand. Thank you.
Exactly. Oh, can I tell a story from some live action troll comments I got today?
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, so I happen to have a Handmaid's Tale costume because I can't help myself sometimes. And I'm a firm believer that one person does have power. And so I put on my Handmaid's Tale costume, took my sign that says, "Tell City Council, revoke ICE building permit because of what's happening in my city." And I went to a busy intersection and I walked the crosswalk for about a half hour with the light on the sidewalks where no one can fucking stop me. So I've always gotten very positive feedback. I do live in a very liberal place. Today, there was a gentleman sitting at the bus stop. I had done a couple rounds of the intersection and I got back to where I was across from him. And I see him very slyly throw one of these up my way. And I was like, all right. I totally got that vibe from you, buddy, but thanks for being so forthright about it. So I waited till I crossed, stood there for a few seconds, and then I looked at him and I went, "I have one of those fingers too." And then I went back to my business, and dude lost it like he was a toddler and started shouting about left, right, something or other. And I think the intersection saw it because there was this big volley of supportive honking right after that. So anyway, it was a moment like, whew, boy, did that get my adrenaline going a whole lot more than online stuff.
Dude, this is in Portland. What's he doing living there?
You know what? There are all kinds of people here. It's just there's sort of a prevailing expectation. And so not that they're not here.
Yeah.
I had a similar
bus. Like the bus came and he didn't get on it because he wanted to sit there and text about me or something. So I didn't take a picture of him, but I'm sure he took a picture of me.
You're gonna
And
be all over social media, Pats.
I mean, at least I've got the white bonnet blinders, so like I'm a little obscured. But yeah, that was a moment. Mhm.
Yeah,
Good job,
you know,
Pats.
yeah. But so when we were doing the No Kings protest, we stood out by the road and we were holding up our signs and everything like that, right? And of course, we live in North Alabama. We actually had a whole lot more support there than we expected. But
Great.
I remember specifically, and this relates to what you just experienced. There was a woman that was driving in her car, and I shit you not, she was nearly halfway out of her seat, of the driver's seat, to lean over the passenger seat just to give us one of these as she was driving by. And it's not just that she was doing this, right? She was like driving, looking nearly halfway over, and like I don't know, air fucking us or something like that. And it was just really weird. Like she was very invigorated to tell it to fuck off. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Honk, honk. Yeah.
It's awesome.
All right. So we got a couple of comments here.
Oh, yeah.
Who wants to read the top one?
I can.
Okay.
Hey, you guys are quite entertaining to watch, but you really have it all wrong. Your facts so wrong. But I suppose like Herb, he means Herbert W. Armstrong, Herbie, the leader of our cult. Your entertaining talents get you views, whether right or wrong. You are bullshitting your followers like you claim Herb did to his, but it's hypocritically entertaining.
Oh, I love that we're at least entertaining. That's good.
I know, right? Right? I mean, to me, this is kind of like a you're not actually good at anything, but you're pretty. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is bullshit misogynistic stuff, if you ask me, but it's that very underlying thing. So, and then that one got my standard comment, which is just like, okay, whatever. Like, thanks for commenting. It helps the channel.
Yeah.
It goes back to that whole, you could want to kill someone and fuck them at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, the underlying tone of this, that just incredibly dismissive and everything.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, that would grind on me. One of my, I guess, triggers is like really condescending people. And depending on how condescending they're being is like how pissed off it gets me. Generally, if an asshole is being condescending in the comments, it doesn't bother me too much. But like, I can totally just smell the condescension like seeping off of that.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. Yes. I would say that is a lot of what we get. A lot of like weak little men who don't feel good enough, which is their own trauma, I fully realize, but they need to push down women because society has told them that women can be pushed down and that they need to be better than women. And so they're trying to use that to be validated in a fucked up way.
The problem is they say it in very subtle ways, John, and that's why we kind of have to pick them apart. Like, why do we get that icks when we read this? Like, oh, misogyny at its finest. That's exactly what these men are doing. You're just silly little women. What the fuck do you know? You're not biblical scholar. We get that a lot, that we're not biblical scholars. Well, yeah, but we're not. Or we're not claiming to be. We don't want anything to do with the Bible aside from the fact that we don't want people to use it to control other people. That's what we're trying to stop. We don't care who fucked their sister in the Bible, which is all over the place, you know? Who gives a shit?
Yeah, and I like how in that comment, like it's purely just like, it seems like opinionated shit to try to like dig at you without any kind of substance. Like I typically like comments when they're like, oh, you got this wrong for this reason. This person's just like, oh, your fact's so wrong. Why, you hypocrite?
I mean, it's their emotional response, right?
Yeah,
this is not a logic-based thing. They're just like, oh, you made me feel discomfort and you made me feel like I don't know everything that I think I know.
Yeah. Well, and Patty, that's something that we talk about a lot too. People are not good at dealing with their discomfort. If something makes us uncomfortable, like it's almost like we've been suppressed so long, we don't know how to pinpoint it or deal with it. And so just our emotions just become, and and it comes out like shit like this, you know?
And we were taught to
Mhm.
accept this kind of bullshit,
Right.
to
Mhm.
just be quiet and not to make a fuss about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really
yeah.
hate that misogynistic side of it.
And that's why we love you, John. You're so sweet to all the women in this community. We appreciate that. We feel it's a safe space around you.
Yep, we know that.
Thank you for doing that.
I appreciate. No, I appreciate that, because there's definitely some comments later that say that I'm not, but I definitely appreciate y'all's sentiment on that.
Oh,
Is the second comment meant to be read too?
Yes.
Okay.
So I could do this one if you don't mind, or Nancy, do you want to read it? I do have a comment about it though.
okay, sure. I read the book and found human sexuality properly applied is an exact metaphor of God putting his Holy Spirit, God's way of thinking, into a man. Amazing. Oh, that could be read so many ways. Go for it, Pat.
know.
Woo!
Is
Yeah,
God's
what?
Holy Spirit like this, or is it more Trump? Like
Docking,
this?
John, docking.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
docking.
yeah,
Okay.
I was
Yes.
getting a something in somewhere vibe out of this, because this was left on a episode where we were reading our cult literature, The Missing Dimension in Sex, written by Herbert W. Armstrong. And this is the book that details out like who should hold their hips up, who should be on their hands and knees, and how you
It
do
was
the
so good.
thing God's way. Yeah. And so I'm looking at this comment like an exact metaphor of God putting his Holy Spirit into a man. So up the butt. I was trying to figure out how this works exactly then, if this book is a metaphor of Holy Spirit being put into a man. I don't understand.
Oh, we
Well,
got big work.
I mean, look, okay. God loves it when you go face down, ass up. So it's literally just going face down, ass up, and then
It's true.
boom, there's the holy hole for you to get into. You know,
The absolute
Right,
It's
for the
the
Holy
Holy
Spirit. Right, the Holy Spirit to just
Holy Spirit.
burrow right in. I like
Well,
that.
That's
Patty-
what I was asking about the Holy Spirit. Like, is the Holy Spirit like this, or is it like a Trump size? Because like that's
Oh,
you know.
I get you.
Is it? Yeah, mushroom shaped. Actually, John, Patty, you and I had went through some of this cult literature and concluded that the Holy Spirit might actually be an orgasm, right? I don't know how we reached that conclusion.
I don't
but
know.
we were reading Herbie's cult literature.
Well, we were also talking to Ryan Kultastic, and the Holy Spirit is probably more adopted from like Asherah and the feminine energies that
Mhm.
used to be paired with Yahweh, but it got like turned into the Holy Spirit, which is sort of a dude or gender neutral or question mark. Why is it all dudes? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and
Mhm.
John, in this same book, okay, yes. I love the fact that our old cult leader actually wrote a sex book and talked about positions and where to put it and everything. It was outstanding. That was one of our early series, the Unpack It series. But he talks about how God would have clearly demonstrated to the first humans, Adam and Eve, on how sex worked. Of course, all kinds of questions arose, like how did exactly did he show them? But my question was, if he showed them how sex worked, why couldn't he teach them like how to read and write?
I just imagine Adam being like totally cucked by God. It's like, now listen, I know I fashioned her out of your rib, but I'm gonna teach you how to fuck now, okay? And then just right there in front. Well, of course, wasn't it Eve was only made because Adam tried fucking and reproducing with the other animals, right? And
Yes.
so like that didn't
None
work
were
out
found
for him.
suitable.
It's like,
None of the
all
other
right,
animals
Adam, I've manufactured you a woman, okay? You totally fucked up with all the other animals. I'm gonna teach you how to do it right, okay?
That's amazing, dude.
God, that's
so good. Oh, so good. See, I knew it didn't matter how many of these we had. We knew we'd go off on tangents about stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, let's see. I think it's my turn to read.
Sure.
WWCog here. Your content is very long wordy, and we don't like no long wordies here.
They don't know what long means. Sorry.
Need to get to the point. In any case, you speak to a lot of emotion and not the content of HWA specifically.
Yeah.
Been out since HWA's death. but still haunted by the truths he spoke of. Curious that you feel the need to do this content. It's been a long time. You, why you're hold on, Dispedy. Why you're Dispedy on this is odd. Atheist, BLM, etc. Sounds like you have adopted a new propaganda religion. Oh, okay. So he admits that his religion's propaganda, then, whatever
That's
religion
very
he.
interesting.
That's the way I took it.
Of course, it's the other. Of course, it's always the other guy lost, not me. Always willing to talk, but keep it shorter, please. I don't like my women wordy.
Right? That's exactly the vibe. I love that he went for us talking about emotional things as if we're just automatons that aren't affected by the bullshit religion and the toxic ways that we were controlled. Oh my God. Yeah.
I like the fact that he just keeps, chastising the word long and saying shorter, please, shorter, please. I think that sounds like a personal problem to me. What do you think?
Yeah.
He's not
Fixation
used
meds.
to. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And then
That was so good.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say y'all responded to him, and he responded back to you. Do one of y'all want to read your response, and then I'll read Williams?
Go for
Sure.
it, Pats. You wrote it. Yep.
Well, to be fair, this is a pretty wordy comment. Thanks for listening and commenting. It really drives our message forward. Mwah.
Look, I suspect many blame HWA when in reality it's themselves.
This
Like,
one makes me so mad.
It's
Sorry.
all
This
because
is
we were indoctrinated, Patty.
We were
As
taught to blame
children, we were
ourselves.
supposed to know.
this is so toxic. Like
It's gross.
like you criticizing HWA, which is Herbert
W. Armstrong.
Wilford asshole. Yeah, or sorry.
Sorry, fun fact, the W stands for nothing. So he was the type of person that like he looked up to all these great white men in history, and they all during the time had middle initials, right? Because I guess it made them more prestige. He didn't have a middle name. He added that.
It just
Yeah, isn't it great?
Oh,
I can see you.
Casey said all the people who assassinate and blow shit up. They have middle name
That's true.
or middle initials. Yeah.
Oh, W.
Yay.
Yeah.
That's
So I was just gonna say that this is like an incredibly like victim blamey and like toxic to where it's meant to be a thought stopper. Like, oh, you should really blame yourself for this. It's like, no. I have a reasonable sense, like of to criticize somebody, and I'm providing legit criticisms, and you're trying to victim blame me somehow. Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Just to clarify, someone was asking HWA. That's Herbert W. Armstrong, who was the leader of the Worldwide Church of God, the doomsday cult that we were raised in. So we may need to clarify from time to time, man.
I called him Herbert Wilbur asshole.
Wilbur.
I like that. Herbie Wilbur.
I like it better.
That'll be his new name. Oh, this one.
Wow.
There's
one.
This one made the list because of one particular little bit in here. Yeah. I don't know if we even need to read the whole thing. If we just read the first paragraph, that'd be fine.
Oh, just
do you want to read it? Okay. Yeah.
I can read it.
Okay.
No, I can read it. It's funny you should make that claim about Christianity, as I don't really see a whole lot of strength or power in you. Actually, from what I've read of your channel description, you seem like you're living in the past, incapable of moving beyond your religious past, with your constant need to criticize and attempt to ridicule it. You essentially cling to it like a crutch because, the minority of atheists online wouldn't acknowledge you if you didn't bash Christianity, which would mean no one at all would care about you two care about you two bulging-eyed fanatics then.
That's the one. Because this video in particular, I was like right up in the camera. So yes, they went for that. Like, oh, her pretty eyes made me uncomfortable. So I'm gonna say they're bulging.
I can just imagine this guy's like, now listen, when she got really close in there on her eye, I had lustful thoughts. So I guess that must mean I gotta cut my eye out by Jesus. Thank you so much, Patty.
Except they never do that somehow.
They'll find out.
Yeah, they never actually pluck their own eye. They just, again, with the victim blaming, they just like, you know, make it the woman's problem. Fuckers.
Yeah.
Fuckers.
I find that it's a pretty regular thing for religious people, instead of actually commenting on like the content of what you're putting up or the content of your arguments or anything. You know, for everybody, they just want to immediately sort of just thought stop you and like criticize you for criticizing an idea. It's like,
right,
we can criticize ideas, we should criticize ideas, and that's where a lot of religious people are like, well, what if I started criticizing atheism? I'm like, do it. I don't give a fuck. Like, who cares? I don't care if you criticize atheism. You're just going to sound stupid in the process, but, you know, feel free.
I hadn't even read that before. That's awesome. Bulging eyes. Oh, that's so great.
I don't know if I read the rest. I was just like, really? You're going to go for that one? Okay.
All right. So,
oh, shit. You want me to read? Okay. All right. So just in Deconstruction Zone, we had we interviewed him, and this was like one of the short clips from him. The one girl looks a bit slow. Wait, are they twins? What? He's talking about me, right? He's gotta be.
Well, no. Here's what I think. I think this comment was very specifically made so that both of us would be like, does he mean me? And then, you know, are we twins? Like, oh wait, they're both slow. Like, okay. Really?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, don't we all look slow next to Justin Deconstruction Zone?
I mean,
be like, wait, you just said what?
That's smart as fuck.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like him, you know, growing all of his social media and everything like that, he's a fucking, you know, long distance runner right there. I mean, he's going pretty good. I'm actually really surprised because like I remember seeing him like a year ago or something like that when he was just kind of starting out, and you know, he's just really blown up.
Seriously, so if you, John, we were watching you long before we started our channel.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a slow and steady race for me, but I'm glad that you know, the community has really kind of blossomed and developed in the past few years.
It has. And John, just a reminder, sometimes slow and steady brings the best orgasms. I'm just saying.
I mean, yeah. You want to finish proper. Yeah.
Correct.
KC said can confirm.
Oh yeah, babe. I know your beautiful wife over there gets some gross ass comments too, like pervy ones like we do.
Well, yeah, no. So we were. Well, I don't know if y'all had heard of or anything like that of the Faithless Forum. We were a major part of the very first one that came around, and so we helped plan that. Well, one of the segments of that was reading mean comments, right? And because that was kind of one of my shticks on my channel, so I was like, I'll host this section and just read mean comments in a hick voice. And so like we did that, and we had everybody that was presenting like provide comments for that, and I would read them, and people would try to guess who it was. Well, KC, she brought her own, and like when I read hers off, like nobody was wanting to point to KC, but everybody knew that it was to KC, but it was like horribly misogynistic. I can't even remember what the comment was necessarily, but it was like horribly misogynistic and everything. Yeah. Well, no, she doesn't remember it. Yeah. But it was that way, and nobody said anything. Nobody guessed or anything. And she just sort of looked around, was like, it was me. but yeah, she definitely does. And you know, I always hate it. I always check with her first before like I go ape shit on them, and she's like, it's fine, don't worry about it. And so I'm like, all right, I'll rein in my bulldog.
And Casey's spicy. She don't take shit from no one. I love it. I love it.
Oh, and then there's another comment on, I guess it's on a different video that says it's lame-o entertainment. What does that mean? It's still
We're gonna
entertainment.
lose sleep tonight, man.
I guess they didn't like our live show where we talked about Herbert W. Armstrong's endless search for pleasure.
I do, you know, I do. I really like your very passive aggressive backhanded comment. The second one, make sure you share those deep thoughts you have.
Yeah.
Just stick a nipple in his face, he'll shut up. There you go.
I know.
Woo!
Yeah,
There's
I
some
think that
booby
the
dude.
nipples didn't come out by then. So maybe he would have been more entertained if the boobies were out.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
for that kind of person, you have to start off like, all right, now let's talk about real shit.
Yes. Get started with a bang. Yep.
All right. Oh, no, it looks like Nancy. These are both Nancy's responses right here. Nancy,
I can read them then. Okay. Wait, I responded to this? Okay. I heard out of you ladies, motherfucker, asshole, and fuck before 1/3 of the video was played. Oh, he's saying we said these words. Excellent.
Yes.
I think Herbert was not all that bad as that. Okay, so he's saying that because we swear a lot, because we're fucking adults and that's what we do. Nobody polices our language anymore. Yeah, he's saying that we're basically bad people, and Armstrong was better than us because he didn't use all this colorful language. I think I said, fuck yeah, we love words that express how angry we feel about being controlled by religious ideology such as this. All right. That was that. And
I love that.
A year ago that was posted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
I love this one so much because seriously, like we said bad words and somehow he's like, oh, that's so terrible. How could you? And we're like exposing Armstrong destroying families by taking 30% of their income, which like has a generational knock-on effect, you know, which, nuts.
Patty, swearing doesn't give men boners. So come on. We need to get rid of that.
I know. That's our whole job is to be here and give men boners, right?
I mean, according to these kinds of people, yes, that's the only. That's
ew. They want their ladies silent. Actually, we do have an episode. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Boner alert.
Oh, I was just gonna say, KC said, except for when they don't want you to give them boners. Apparently, it's very finicky. That line is very, very thin there. But I was gonna say that I had an interaction with somebody on TikTok the other day. We were talking, and like I would casually cuss, not at him or anything like that. But then he started complaining. He's like, "You've cussed at me 6 times now, and I haven't said a thing to you. I haven't cursed at you or anything like that." And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like, curse at me. It doesn't fucking matter. I don't care.
So I had another real life interaction, and maybe I should take an L for this one. But I took my kids who were unschooled, homeschooled for a lot of years, and we went over, don't judge me, and we went over to the playground at our local school, and my kids were running around, and there was a few other kids hanging around there. And I don't remember what was said, but something that my child thought that is not what should be said to me. And so she gave him one of these, and he comes over to me all concerned and was like, your kid flipped the middle finger at me. And I was like, oh, did it hurt? And, yeah, he didn't have much more to say after that. And I was like, oh, okay, thanks for telling me. I don't know. I was shocked, honestly, that schools are still so weird about swearing. I don't get it.
Yeah.
It's like syllables we put together, guys. You know, it only has power if we give it power, and people are giving it so much power.
Yeah. You know, that's actually something, a conversation that we had with my ex-wife, my son's mother, because our son's 15 years old. and we all three of us were like, well, he's 15, he's already cursing with his friends. Why should we really give a fuck if he cusses? And like they're just words and everything. And so like we all three of us talked it over, and I believe his mother ended up telling him like, look, we don't care if you curse. And then we affirm that whenever we talk to him. So it's like we don't really give a fuck. We curse. I curse like a sailor with you. Like it doesn't matter.
Right.
Exactly. Right.
All
I
right,
mean,
so-
it's like if you're not doing it to be horrible to a person or to make them
Yeah.
feel bad about themselves, like it's just powerful language.
Yeah, that's kind of
absolutely needed.
one of our stipulation. That was our stipulation for him about the cursing. Like as long as it wasn't in anger, like towards us or anything like that. Like that would be the stipulation about it.
Just
Or not around
something
your
that's-
grandparents either.
Oh, yeah.
That one's tricky. And poor children. It's such a mind fuck for them to have to tell them like we want you to be able to say the things that you want to without harming people, but at the same time, well, there's certain people over here that maybe it's better off you just don't say that in front of them, because those people are just
Right.
kind of past that point. They're not going to get it. We have a whole episode on that, John, actually. I think it was called Silence to Swearing still, Pats, unless the name was changed.
Mhm.
But yeah, where we talk about how growing up in a cult, our language was highly policed. And so now we do cuss like sailors because we're free of that now. It feels so good to get it out and say
Mhm.
what we want.
Yeah. Okay. So for this next comment here, I figured I could read the actual asshole in it, and then
Sure.
Patty can read the Apostate Sisters comment, and then Nancy you'll read yours.
Sure.
Okay. How your attack on Armstrong morphed into an attack on the philosophy of Christianity is quite a leap.
No, it's
You
not.
girls are
Girls.
far from theologians, but it was still interesting watching this train wreck of two people judging a philosophy by its abusers. Luckily, you're not apologists either, or you'd starve.
Ooh, spicy.
All right. Nah, the game of follow the invisible leader has always been abusive. Herbie was a product of it, not an aberration.
And then I said, who's claiming to be theologians? We're not claiming to be. Yeah,
Well,
I do have to point out the fact also that he called us girls. Patty and I are
Yes.
trying to change that a little bit and be like, no, we're actually women. We're kind of infantilizing a little bit. And like the subtext to that is kind of like, well, you're just silly little girls. What the fuck do you know? You're not intelligent. You don't know a lot of shit about the Bible, so you have no say in it. Just, squash them down.
It seems like that comment has a few layers of like trying to gatekeep or trying to thought stop, because you've got demeaning you as girls instead of addressing you as women. And then there's also the theologians part. Like you've got to be a theologian in order to criticize Christianity. I mean, the motherfucking book literally has God spitting in dirt and rubbing mud in someone's eyes to cure blindness. Like you want me to be a theologian in order to say, hey, that's kind of bullshit, like you don't have to be a theologian to know that Jesus casting demons out of somebody into pigs and having them like commit suicide off of a cliff is bullshit. You don't got to be a theologian to know that.
Or an apologist,
Right.
which apparently we aren't good at either. But we've gotten that twice. Something about you're a terrible apologist, and I'm like, that's like the other direction of what we're doing. I don't get it. Unless they're saying we're an apologist for atheism or something like that. I don't know.
But
Well, so that's just. Oh, go ahead, Nancy.
Sorry, John. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was. We're gonna get to that point where I'm gonna forget what the fuck I said. To us, it doesn't really matter, like picking apart specifics in the Bible, because we just don't fucking care about it. For all I personally care, you can worship unicorn farts. I just don't want to have to smell them. Like, how much plainer can it be?
Hey, now I've heard from a good source that unicorns shit out ice cream, so maybe their farts actually smell like perfume.
That could be good. Little vanilla
Yeah.
farts,
Good
maybe.
thing.
Yeah.
What if it's Febreze? I mean, it literally
Oh.
anything could come out of there. What if it's Febreze? So like whenever you could get a unicorn, spray their farts on it, and it just acts like Febreze. It just takes away all the bad smell.
Yay, fart rabbit
Yeah.
trail. I love this.
Mhm.
2 cups, 1
So-
uniform. I
I'm-
one unicorn.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I wonder how many people in the comment section will get that, because that's kind of a deep cut reference.
Ooh, John, there was a point when Patty had not seen that video, and actually we recorded her live reaction to watching 2 Girls, 1 Cup because she hadn't seen it. It was amazing, her reaction.
I know. I
So good.
somehow I still end up as like the innocent one that everyone thinks it's hilarious to like pop my cherry on various things. Sorry.
It is hilarious, Patty. I'm sorry. It is.
Okay, I
Oh.
just wanted to say we fed a troll. This is a different entire episode that we
Oh,
did
yeah.
because there was some random little video I put out that somebody decided they were going to go all theological bro on me about, and they went into like the writings of Theodosius proving that whatever about Jesus, and people did
Theodosius.
love him as a relationship. It's not just a modern thing. And I was like, let's play. So I spent the whole day going back and forth with this dude, and he was clearly like, you know, Catholic bro dude all up in his old authors and everything. And he kept throwing
Yeah.
stuff out that like, I don't give a fuck. I think I said this in there, but I don't give a fuck how much Theodosius wanted to suck Jesus's dick. Like, it doesn't make any of it true at all. So the whole day spent of doing the comments resulted in that episode, which was
Yep, it was a fun one.
that was the one where misogyny really stood out to me, of like, oh, they're trying to diminish us with this. Oh, they're telling us that our voices don't matter. It was just, but so subtle. Like it really put a fine point on it for me of how that works.
And it's
Yeah.
very effective to people who are vulnerable to these types of messages. And that's what we're trying to stop. It's not necessarily for us, even though talking about this is very healing for us. We're trying to stop this cycle. We don't want to see children to continue to be indoctrinated and then have to go through the same fucking thing over and over again throughout your life. And then trying to find little things, little ways that the church actually indoctrinated you so you can't really process as a whole healthy human today, including sexuality. Like, it's disgusting the ways that they have controlled everything.
Yeah. I do have to say though that my favorite, like whenever somebody's being shitty towards me or whatnot, and they're like Christian and they like start, I don't know, just throwing out really shitty comments towards me, my favorite response to go to is, I'm sorry, do you suck Jesus's dick with that mouth?
Yep.
Yeah, they have to answer either yes or no, like yes I do, or no I don't. Like they've got to answer that question at that point.
And they definitely had to picture it. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, that's how yeah, it's sinful. That's right, honey. That's how I almost made Ray Comfort vomit.
I remember that one.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, and John, I gave you like quite a little chunk. I think it was the cryptids episode that we collabed with Hivesci Bumblebee, and there was a whole clip I took out of your video for talking about it was Kent Hovind talking about whale penis, and that it was what 10 or 12 feet, something like that, and your reaction was just so priceless that I had to put that old clip in there. Like, John, I haven't seen this before. This is amazing.
so good.
Oh yeah.
And then
I mean, I've got a whole song on my channel for it. That's
I saw that too.
Yeah.
And I may have photoshopped mine and Nancy's faces on John and Vice Rhino's
Vice
heads.
Rhino, that was
with
so
the big whale
funny.
penis in the shot.
So good.
Ah.
So good.
All right. So who would like to read this one?
I can read it.
That's
This
Patty.
one is honestly, this one made the slideshow
Yeah.
because this is the biggest comment that we get on the channel. Because, you know, I am obviously still and always learning as an ally, but it does matter to me very much that we stand up for marginalized people, for trans rights, for people of color. And I do fervently believe as a concept that Black Lives Matter and that they have been mistreated heinously by our country. And we have a long way to go toward doing better. So that is why this is here. But someone did say, LOL, she's still rocking the BLM poster. Laugh, cry, laugh, cry, laugh, cry. And I said, duh, because it's still true. The Apostate Sisters get really excited about human rights and pissed off when people don't understand them.
I like Purple's response here too. Purple rhymes with orange. Yeah, she's great.
Do you want to read it?
Yeah, sure. Yes, we have to continue making noise about how many people are being denied equal rights. I get so pissed off at people who act like the civil rights issues were all settled in the 60s. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Because if the world is better for more people, the world is more good for all of us. Like, I do not understand how people can fight for their right to push someone else down. Like, it gets me emotional immediately. Fuck all the way off with that shit.
I don't know how it even feels good. If I'm rude to somebody, I actually feel bad about it. Like, if I lift someone else up and I make someone feel better, I feel good too. I think that's just human nature, right? Unless we have some wiring loose or something. I don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand.
Right.
I don't know. I feel pretty good whenever these shitty people come after me, and then I shit on them a little bit, kind of like giving them as good as I get, kind of thing. But typically I don't like bringing people down now.
Well, that's kind of a defense mechanism as well, John. I mean, it's also human nature to want to defend ourselves as well and to stay safe, including emotionally safe. So you're not going out there trying to piss people off. You're trying to keep them informed.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's a pretty big difference between me and like these apologists and everything like that. Like if I come to somebody's channel, I usually try to leave a comment that's like very thoughtful, or I'm trying to, spread some good information or something like that. I never come on there as like shitty kind of thing,
Yeah.
Hey, John, I have a question. I know that we are simultaneously streaming like what's on your channel over to our channel as well.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a couple of super chats come in. I don't know if you can see them. Yeah. Okay. I don't know if you have.
Yeah, I can.
I just didn't want to forget them. Okay.
Yeah. Did you want to go ahead and address the ones that we've got so far?
Sure. I totally will.
Yay!
Yay! Thank you so much
Justin.
to Justin Joseph for the $4.99 super chat saying, faux alphas troll because they hate themselves. They'll gladly stare at the sun, but can't look at themselves in the mirror. Damn.
Oh,
thank you so much
Justin.
for the super chat, and thank you for your comment.
Justin, I think you are far more insightful than you may think. By the way, Justin Joseph is actually someone that we just interviewed. He'll be out soon. And he was also a survivor of the Worldwide Church of God like us. Mm-hmm. So everybody go check that out once it's out. Thank you, Justin. All right. Dade Murphy.
Yep. And Dade Murphy, thank you so much for your $20 super chat saying, excuse me. Shout out to the ripped open woman and babies who were dashed to pieces. Hashtag Hosea. Yay, God.
Yeah. And Dade Murphy, we did see your sort of, I guess it was like a spoof video you did on us. It was hilarious. We loved it. So thank you. We both subscribed to you now. Go check out Dade Murphy. Yay.
Yeah, he used that was the first time someone used a sound from us, and I was very excited. It was like a watershed YouTube moment.
Yeah, and Dade Murphy became a member on y'all's channel.
Oh, on our channel. Cool. Welcome.
Okay, great. Welcome.
Oh, Dade. That means now Dade has access to the squishy boob emoji.
And then Rick B said, howdy, heathens.
Yay.
Howdy. Hi.
That's awesome.
All right.
Apocalypse IPA. Where is that beer found?
At the end of the world.
I would drink from that. I'll drink that at the end of the world. Okay.
But I do think that just to give my thoughts here on this comment, I do think that it's great. Supporting BLM. We actually had a flag outside of our house for a long time that was along the same lines. We ended up having to take it down though, just because the sun like faded it and everything, and also the wind. Like I don't know what it is, but just the way our house is situated, like the wind is like a perfect storm that was just always kind of knocking it down. And John, so we ended up what?
John, it was clearly God that did that. He doesn't want you to have that sign up there. It was divine intervention.
Yeah.
You know how I know? I just know.
Magic has spoken.
And then every time that I read, every time I read one of these comments and they have like the laughy cry emoji kind of thing, I always, in my head, it always reads like this. Well, she's still rocking the BLM poster. Ha, 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 ha.
What's that fucker's name? The old mega church pastor that did that. Ha, ha, ha. Like something about what was he saying? Like, oh, Biden won the election. Ha, 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 ha. You remember that dude?
Yeah, it's like the guy that's like got dyed brown hair and he's all Botoxed.
Yeah, the Botox dude that with creeper eyes. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. the mascot. He's the one that blew COVID away, right?
Yes, that's the one. I can't think of his name either. I'm kind of glad I can't think of his name.
Yeah, but I think everyone knows who I'm talking about. But that guy,
Kent Copeland.
Yeah,
Kenneth Copeland.
Kenneth Copeland sounds right. Yep.
Yeah.
And enough bronzer to, I don't know.
Casey was like, "Of course it's right. I'm always right."
Yes, yeah.
All right. So here's William Harrington 4975 who says, "I enjoy watching the Apostate Sisters. Very beautiful women."
Okay, now
Sorry,
admittedly,
I wanted it to be as creepy as possible.
I think that's not even one of the creepy ones we've gotten, actually. I guess
this
we'd
one
prefer...
I put in because it's not really mean, exactly, but it's toxic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, if we were to turn the tables and say one of these dude content creators is like, oh my God, he's so fucking hot. Like, I mean, maybe they wouldn't care or anything, but why is that the first thing we'd say about them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, it seems very demeaning in a sense, because it's like, I enjoy watching y'all because you're beautiful, not because you have insight. It's not because you're educating your audience or they're gaining any kind of like useful information from you, because obviously they're not listening. All they're doing is watching, and apparently from a position where it's like right up his nose as far as like his profile picture goes.
Yeah. Well, there was one dude, and maybe this is the same dude, but there was one dude that just got so many boners for Patty. It was like early on when we started the channel. It just, every comment he would say, "Oh my God, Patty is so hot. Oh my God, Patty is so beautiful." Like, he wouldn't stop, and it got really annoyed. Like, can you comment on the material?
Those are the comments that never came through on where I could see them. What
really?
The fuck?
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, I saw them. He was starting to get a little creepy.
Boners. Gross.
Boners for Patty.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
The cryptids one. Hivesai, you still here, honey? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jesus
was
fucking
original.
This is amazing, dude.
And it literally starts
some of this shit.
It starts with Nephilim. Like, what? I guess I get it. It's the cryptids episode, but
Nephilim cartoons with strange monkeys. I get monkey, monkey. Selling stale popcorn and chocolate covered frozen
So good.
for Walt Disney World.
You could just like read through some of the bits here. Like, your tinfoil hats have been blocking incoming something update transmissions. Holy fucking shit. Misfits to Society. Genesis 129. Yeah, dumb. I think he's just literally off his face, and he's commenting.
Oh yeah,
like as he's watching the video. Our cryptids episode, there's nothing weird about it. We're just talking about like some of the like biblical cryptids that were listed, Behemoth, Leviathan, and all that shit. I don't know. This dude's just
it's so bizarre. I mean, the word interbreeding is in there more times than should really show up anywhere. And then what did I see? It's like something about root cutting. Yes, skilled something. I covered it, but knowledge of root cutting, as if I have no idea. Is that like a Garden of Eden thing or something? Forbidden
Incest-
knowledge of root cutting. What the fuck?
You can't get a seed war through the very same ancestry tree of incest, interbreeding sludge crappy crap. That's some beautiful writing right there.
Like,
I'm
How
inspired.
long did this take?
I mean,
Oh
this
shit!
dude's got nothing but time.
So I didn't realize that was all one comment back there.
Yeah.
Like, I've had some novels before in my comment section, but I mean, this is fuck.
And then there was another comment a little ways down that was this
That's
little
right.
one I put on top, which was like, I don't know if this is a summary. Like, in case you didn't read all of that, he said, I'm not walking around in the foggy shit world you are babbling about. Okay, kind of seems like we're not the ones in a shit world if you look at what's out there, but you know.
Yeah. I mean, y'all were talking about cryptids in the Bible. You're not talking about the current socio-political state. Like,
No.
You have an explanation, honey?
Cocaine.
Ooh.
Cocaine. Cocaine is the
Oh, yeah. That's amazing.
I can just see this guy before he saw y'all's video, was watching. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna leave a banger. Oh, interbreeding bananas.
I think that's accurate.
Yeah. All right.
I like this one. Let me read
We get
it.
a lot like
I'm
this.
gonna read it.
In the name of Jesus Christ, I command the spirits within you, apostate sisters, to come out. That's something we heard just like that. And then I responded, did it work? Then Patty
And then
responded.
I responded, well, I came really hard later after this was posted, so maybe.
And I said, me too. We both had an orgasm from this. Yeah.
Not from this. In spite of this.
Yeah, if I would have read this, I would have been after reading that, I would have been like, oh no, I still got it.
Yay. Yeah, I think the most comments we get are from former Worldwide Church of God, and like they threaten us with lake of fire, apocalypse type stuff, and they just kind of wash us off and be like, well, you're going to be burning in the apocalypse anyway, so I'm not going to bother with you. Yeah.
I pray you come to know Jesus. We get so many of those.
Yeah.
Well, and then Dave Danny down there, which don't trust anybody that's got like two first names like that, Dave Danny. But anyways, did you give me whore? I give God says to give.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I went through that one like, what is he saying? And I think it's just lacking punctuation, obviously. But I think it's like, did you give, mean whore? I give. God says to give. That's how I tried to make sense of it.
Good job, Pat. You
It
cracked the
sounds
code.
better as a run-on fragment, though.
It does, and in your accent, it's better.
Hashtag
that was the
mean
first
whores.
one. I know, that was the first time I think we've seen a word like that. So I was like, oh, you're just gonna go for it. All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's funny. John, like, I'm sure other women go through this, but I was called a slut and a whore before I even had sex for the first time. Isn't that incredible how that works, dude?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Yeah,
I was literally in purity culture. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just saying that Casey also went through that too, like being characterized that way, even though nothing.
Mean whore energy. I like that. Yeah.
Mean whore energy. Let's do it. Okay.
I guarantee, just real quick, every woman has been called both a whore and a prude. I guarantee it.
Speaking of the Handmaid's Tale, that Patty mentioned that she's got the Handmaid's costume and everything. It's always struck me as very confusing and odd in the show when like all of the wives and all of the like aunts and everything like that, they would always characterize the handmaids as whores and sluts. And it's like, I'm sorry, You're forcing them to do this. Why does that make them a whore or a slut? Because it's not like they joined up as like, I'm ready to breed. Like they were forced into it.
Isn't that a horrifying show?
That's
we just
the
interviewed
cognitive dissonance. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine. I just a shout out to Janice Selby. We had just interviewed with her, and she's the author of Divorcing Religion, and she has a podcast. She actually interviewed Margaret Atwood, the author of Handmaid's Tale, and so like it was so cool. Like we're one person away from someone who like actually got a chance to have that conversation with Margaret Atwood. I'm so excited.
That's so cool. I think Casey just gave me the look of we're watching that later.
Hell yeah.
The book only covers season 1 though. Everything else was a modern
right
edition.
Yeah and then they're doing the testaments, and I can't wait for the testaments to see how that works.
Yeah. It's so relevant to what's going on right now, man.
Remember, how we got Gilead is we didn't fight Gilead. That was my takeaway from that.
Shout out Casey.
Yeah,
she posted that
but
recently.
She did. Yeah, and then I put it on my Facebook page, and I got like a whole bunch of shitty comments from that. But, anyways, I just want to tell you, Nancy and Patty, that you are wrong.
No, we aren't. No, we aren't. Patty, your comment is so funny. You're just like, no, we aren't.
No, you. I've done that
you
before.
So can I.
Yeah,
it's like child's play. No, you're wrong.
Yeah, I've done that before in the comments too. Like somebody will post like some innocuous kind of bullshit, and I'll just be like, "No, you." It's like they don't really give you anything to really work with. And then Ethan comes back though with Mr. Armstrong in the GOAT. I am also a part of WWCGA, big follower of him, and please respect him. It's not Armstrong, it's Mr. Armstrong.
Oh my God.
And then I said, oh.
Quick point, isn't a goat, I know that's like an acronym for something here, but like, isn't a goat like where a dude drops trow, he tucks his cock in his balls behind him and then he bends over? Because dudes in the military used to do that to me all the time. They would do the goat. That's the one that was in the movie for waiting, correct? Or was it a fruit bowl? I think it was a goat.
No, that's a fruit bowl.
No, a fruit bowl is
the junk gets
that
way out the back. That's, I don't know.
No, the goat is where the testicles are showing through the legs, and you gotta get everybody to like look one way, and then they look back, and like they're supposed to see your ass and your balls at the same time.
Oh, okay, I got them mixed up. I think the bat wings one is where you like stretch your balls right out to look like bat wings. That's hilarious. Shout out Chris Mallard's here. Does it smell like goat? A chicken.
I hate that.
Won't do.
I hate that I have like an encyclopedic knowledge of like every single movie I've ever seen. It does not bode well for me that I remember all the different ways of showing off of a guy's balls in that movie.
That's okay.
Well, so I couldn't help myself, and he's going off on greatest of all time, Armstrong. It's Mr. Armstrong, and so I was like, he's dead. He's dead.
You did.
Yeah.
He said Jesus would return before Armstrong died, and he didn't.
So that was my next comment too. He said Jesus was coming in his lifetime. He died in 1986. He was a false prophet. Time to let it go. I just feel like these are the truth bombs that people need to hear. And then this little one on the side, if you want to read it, John, was another WCG pro person, and he was showing his support.
Okay. Mr. Armstrong work didn't die. It went to his student, Mr. Flurry. God's work will never die.
He's referring to Gerald Flurry of Philadelphia Church of God, who was so far up Mr. Armstrong's asshole that he literally built a university that looks exactly like the one Armstrong did.
So
Suck
funny.
dick money.
Wow.
I think he's the one. Was it him or Pack from Restored Church of God, another offshoot, that said, whatever it was that Armstrong had, I got a double portion of it.
I like
dude.
that you
Good for
hearted
you.
it.
I don't know
Because
why I did
you know
that.
when you heart it and it comes through on their notifications on their phone or wherever, and so like he left this really shitty thing like it just went to Mr. Flurry, he didn't do shit, and got he his death didn't do shit, and you're just like love it.
Better show that proper respect to elder old white dudes.
All right, here's the last set of y'all's before we get to mine, and mine comes out
Okay.
with a banger. So,
Yay.
but anyways,
Oh, I
Okay.
just want to say with this one is not in any way a toxic comment or a mean tweet. But when I opened it and I saw Pride Comes Before the Fall on our Pride post, I was like, this is going to be some shit. And then I was actually very happy to realize it wasn't. I can read it, or if you want. Pride comes before the fall of hate, the fall of bigotry, the fall of fear. Happy Pride Year. Woo!
Woo!
yay. Awesome.
Yay. And with
Okay.
a banger too. Come on.
Yeah. And I have to say, like, I generally have, every February or every June, I try to like make posts specific, kind of exactly like what you're doing here, like over on the Facebook page. And there's just always so much shit. Like I remember I did a video about Martin Luther King Jr. A while back, and like people were like so shitty on it, and that was like so surprising that people would be shitty about Martin Luther King Jr. Like it's just so crazy.
Unbelievable.
All right, so now we're about to get to my comments, and Patty, Nancy, if you're uncomfortable reading anything, right, you just let me know, and I can read it perfectly fine. The first one that's coming up is a conversation that happened on Facebook. And I've blurred. There's 2 posts that I've had to actually censor, so just be wary of that.
All right.
So this is Chris Smith over there on Facebook. And so that happy face up there is actually the censor. It's not actually part of his message. The F word. So I don't know. If somebody wants to read my responses, I'll read Chris Smith.
Sure.
Chris says,
all right.
Just like you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just like you F's loving Democrats.
What's your deal with slurs against gay people?
Look, it's over, pussy. May I recommend you kill itself and any children you may have. Do the world a favor. I'm just trolling you and making suggestions.
Now, why are you so mad? And why would you want me to kill children? I think you need therapy or to do some serious self-reflection. There's something wrong with you. Normal people don't behave this way. Yeah, you're not wrong.
That's a good point.
Maybe I'm just expressing my freedom of speech, something people like you aren't a big fan of.
Wow.
I don't know why he would think that.
Right?
Okay,
I mean that's a projection moment, right?
Yeah.
Casey, what was the purple bubbles? I guess I didn't. There've been so many of these types of messages. It's hard to keep track.
Oh, she can hop on if she wants to read them. These are fun.
Yeah, she said, yeah, I'm fine. Y'all do your thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh my god.
She dealt with it the first time. Oh my god.
Yeah. Okay. So, starting on the top left, I'll read that first one.
Can we just like point out the dude's name, Tori in Tahoe, right? Is that okay? Cool.
Tori in Tahoe.
Oh, I read it as in Tahoe. Okay.
We can go with that. Fine.
Thanks for telling me that middle-aged guy with the graying beard and the condescending look on his face is a he, him.
You just anytime.
Glad I can help you out.
I'll tell you, yeah, he, him. I've got no problem. See, I'm not a snowflake, and I don't melt over pronouns. So that's been the
Oh,
biggest sort of thing for like on TikTok and everything, like asking what pronouns they use. That seems to be a good filter for like dipshits.
Yes.
I mean, all you have to do,
absolutely nothing to respect somebody's pronouns.
right?
My gosh.
But all you
Yeah.
have to do is refer to the Christian God as a she, and then they go crazy.
Yes.
So obviously they do care.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of crazy the middle comment there that even I get misogynistic comments lobbied my way to like demean women. It just seems so weird.
Well, because I'm certain you make a lot of supportive of women comments, and it brings it all out. It makes them feel uncomfortable. It makes them feel weak.
Yeah. So this guy says lots of estrogen in that picture.
What was it?
Okay. I can't remember what the picture was of, but I know that it was a very it came from a very like woman positive sort of post. And I can't remember if it was me that was in the post. I think it might have been me that was in the post. Yeah, I can't remember, but like yeah, I'm totally filled with estrogen. Well, I mean, it was their way of like basically calling me like either a bitch or like just a woman like weak, kind of thing. There's that whole kind of thing with it. Now, what do y'all want to read? Aaron's?
Yes.
Sure. Patty, go for it.
Okay.
Poetry.
Great. Imagine supporting a governing body such as the United States government and their war crimes across the globe. You are the face of piece of trash American. And it says, how guys who are voting for Kamala eat fries. What the fuck?
And you just kind of reminds me of, Joe of the Kentucky Atheist. He likes to say a lot like, so what if I'm gay? I could go after this live stream and suck a bag of dicks and come back. It doesn't make any difference.
Yeah, and I think it's just so crazy for one them to like use homosexuality as like a pejorative, which is essentially what it's doing. Because just like you just said, Nancy, I mean, yeah, sure, I could double fist a couple of cocks just like Trump does on stage every time he starts dancing. But I think that Kamala was the best option there. Like, I mean, I'm not offended by people making like gay like jokes towards me, because I'm like, do you mean that there's something wrong with being gay? Like, are you man enough to take a dick? I don't think so.
Well, I mean, the double standard here too is like, these dudes have a problem with you sucking some dude's dick, but they have no problem with my lips wrapped around some woman's beautiful little nipple, huh? Yeah, double standard much.
Well, I mean, it's okay for that to happen, but it's not okay to think about those long, veiny, thick, girthy cocks.
This one, we were talking about how on our stuff, the misogyny is very hidden. And like, if I had seen this, probably I wouldn't have looked at it long enough to be like, oh, that's a gay joke. Like, to me, it's like another level under, right? Like, is my brain just not dirty enough to be like, oh, because it wouldn't have occurred to me until you guys started making dick jokes, and I was like, oh yeah, that's what he's doing. Okay, like, yeah. Sorry, my innocence rears its ugly head again.
Yeah, that's okay. So now this page is kind of like more atheist centered instead of like liberal centered, which over on my Facebook page I do a lot of like politics posts and everything like that, but here we've actually got some more religious stuff. So I'll start at the top with Wesley, who says, "Godless freak."
And I thought that was part of his name. That was his comment, huh?
Oh no. Yep, that's the comment. Godless freak. I'm just a godless freak.
Is that an insult or something?
I mean, I didn't take it as one, but I knew they meant it as one. It's like,
I'm a godless
freak.
Definitely not.
All right. Who wants to read David's?
John, Sure, go for it.
Okay. I'm thankful that I'm not an atheist edgelord with delusions of grandeur.
Edgelord.
Yeah, so this was on a religious post of mine, or anti-religious post rather, and so like I criticize the historicity of Jesus and all this and like the biblical reliability and everything like that, and I kind of get down and I try to make memes that get down into the weeds about those topics without it seeming like it's getting too like deep into it. And so David, for a while there, this guy was commenting every single time I posted and was just shitting on me for being an atheist. And so yeah,
that's the time. God,
he might be a little jealous of you, John.
Oh, maybe
you have a certain sense of freedom and a hot wife that I think he wishes he had.
Probably, yeah. Now, Nancy, you got to read this next one.
Which one? The evolution versus intelligent design?
No, the one right below David's.
Oh, shit brain! You shit brain!
Shit brain!
Damn, I got you.
Ooh, burn, solid burn there, Jeffrey.
Yeah, here's what I like. It's shit brain. Period. Like it's an entire sentence. Shit brain. Like
it's genius.
Yeah, no pronouns required. That's true. Nancy, I'll let you read that final one since that other one was
all right. And this dude with Christ in the name here, I feel bad for John Maddox. Trying to debate with a simpleton is difficult. I've seen you debate, John. You're no simpleton. You know your shit.
Yeah. Well, apparently, so there's a certain segment of the apologist like debate bros that are very like they're like shit posters. They're edgelords almost. And so like John Maddox is one of those. Like this is a guy who literally he knew I lived in North Alabama, and he put in a comment or on a live stream somewhere, he was like, listen, I will pay you $5,000 if we will go to the University of University of Alabama in Huntsville and ask a professor specifically about whether or not DNA is like Diet Coke. Because that was something that I said in one of my debates. Because he was trying to make DNA to be like more complex and like need a creator, and I'm like, it's a chemical similar to like Diet Coke and everything like so like because there's like a chemical formula for like Diet Coke and everything. And so I was trying to simplify it down for him. And so that's been kind of a rallying cry for them. But this is the kind of guy that thinks I'm a simpleton. And so I'm like, okay, fine. Yeah, I'm a simpleton. I'm glad you think so.
You'll sleep just fine tonight. And I can't believe your trolls keep coming back, John. Ours just disappeared.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I've been doing this since like I think 15 years. Just about, yeah, since about 2010. Yeah. So, I mean, I've got, of course, these are just in the most recent time frame. I accidentally reproduced one. I'm so sorry about that. There's an extra one on here. The rest of these are cool. So the first one up there is just Mark. He just says, "Yay!"
You had some noise canceling going on there.
Yeah. Yeah, and so like I love to point out the homophobes. So like I posted up one of those feeler posts, and so like he just responds with gay, and so I'm like, homophobe, found one right here. Yep. Homophobe.
Gotcha. Thanks for outing yourself.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's see, who wants to read the Eric Gonzalez one?
Sure. You just voted for men in women's sports. Yay! You did it. Another win for men. Ooh.
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
Yeah. Anti-trans post, he's anti-trans. It's an anti-trans comment, but it was on a pro-trans, message. And so like, I love, showing that kind of support. I've read many comments from people on those kinds of posts. Like, I'm so glad, like that they being trans themselves, are so glad to have somebody, sticking up for them and everything like that. So, I really do, like putting those up because of the fact that they can see that there's a lot of support for them out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Safe space for sure. Thank you, John, for creating a safe space for trans people. Hey,
I do what I can. I try. So Patty, do you want to read Achilles there?
Yes.
Achilles.
All right. Achilles says, then get the fuck out. Nobody wants you here with that slur attitude.
Think fucked up?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So this was I had
Slur.
I had a Facebook reel go viral, okay, and it was right around Memorial Day, and I was very I was very disapproving of America at that point, and I still am. But I posted up this. It was a song that was in it that was a play off of the Lee Greenwood song. Like "I'm proud to be an American," except it changed the words, and it's like "I'm ashamed to be an American." Blah 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 blah, and then it gets to the end, and just full transparency, it does say "Goddamn fuck the USA" kind of thing. Conservatives lost their shit. And so I have so many comments where people are like, then get the fuck out. You're not a real American and all this other shit. But that was one of the worst ones that was there. I do have one of the actual worst one that we got off of that coming up here in a second. But yeah, I can't believe I put that one in there twice. It's so crazy that I didn't remember putting that in. But anyways, okay. So next here, I'll read this first one on the left here from the Stone Geek, who says, "You're a history denier, no better than the science denying Christians, Lamau." And
pertaining to what?
Well, it's pertaining to my mythicist position, me not being convinced that Jesus existed as a historical person.
Oh, yeah.
And so, yeah. And so I constantly get, these comments that try to shame me for not, questioning the historicity of Jesus or anything like that. And so it's so funny to hear them compare me to like a flat earther or a science denier or something like that, because it just highlights to me that they just simply don't know. Like how history is done and how vague history can be and all this other stuff. And so it's hilarious to me. And so that's why I put this one up here along with David Williams, which I don't know who wants to read David Williams, but feel free.
Sure.
Okay. For a scientist, you certainly do not understand logic. Stating that something is not true because there is no evidence is a logic fallacy, absence of evidence fallacy. Maybe you should stop calling yourself an engineer and name this group Godless Church. You might as well make it a belief system, as you are unable to use the scientific method. Enjoy.
Enjoy that comment. Awesome.
Enjoy my shitty comment.
So my position is not that because there's no evidence that means Jesus didn't exist. And I guess maybe it's a little bit nuanced of a position for me to hold, but I say, well, there's no evidence for Jesus's existence, therefore I just don't believe he existed, right? So that's not me saying he definitely didn't exist. I do have arguments that I can make in support of that, but me just saying there's no evidence for him, that's just me saying, hey, I don't believe he existed because there's no evidence. It's a lot like saying, oh, I don't believe leprechauns exist. So that's because there's no evidence of leprechauns. Like it's the exact same kind of thing. But these people always want to act like, oh, just because there's no evidence doesn't mean he didn't exist. I'm like, I agree. What's your evidence? And then they give me the same kind of bullshit evidence. So
my thing is, what difference does it make? Even if there was some dude that actually inspired some sort of story, at least in some format, like who fucking cares? Like, there's no evidence to say that this dude was like supernatural. He may have been some sort of, protester back in the day, and he went against Rome. So of course they fucking crucified him. He claimed himself the king in their territory.
Right. But can that even be said to be the person who's represented in the scriptures? It's kind of a weird mind fuck. Well, and this is the type of comment that we get most often as well. They're like, oh, you just traded one belief system for another.
Yeah.
Okay. You're not paying attention.
Yeah. I really go ahead, Nancy.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, the toxic part of this for me is how condescending it is, and like trying to put me on the same playing field as like some religious person. Like I'm being he's basically using religion as a pejorative for atheists, being like, oh, you're just as
Right.
religious as everybody else. And so it's that condescension that kind of really, it doesn't get to me. Like, I don't let it like affect my mood, but it's kind of like, that's the shitty part of this comment, you know?
But they're like not
Mhm.
lending themselves any credence either to say, well, you're just like a religion. Like, you're saying you're just as shitty. Okay.
Yeah.
I know. What are you trying to prove with that?
I don't know what they're trying to say in statements like that, but
Like,
we're sick
trying
of
to-
hearing them.
I mean, I think they're trying to put it on an equal playing field when atheist people are often saying, like, no, that's like a whole thing that we're not a part of, you know?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So this is kind of a wall of shit. Let's see.
Oh, dear.
I'll
Oh,
start off
God.
at the top. I'll
These
start
are
off at the
so
top.
good. Okay.
Many atheists are kind and respectful. I do not think you represent them at all.
No,
According to Chris, I am not kind, nor am I respectful. Okay, so earlier y'all were praising me for being very inclusive and very safe to be around, but Chris wants you to know that I am not those things.
Okay. Got it. Noted.
Chris would know better. That's what Casey said. All right, now the Michael comment here is a little hard, so I don't know if either one of y'all want to read it. If you don't, that's fine.
Sure, I'll read it. Sounds fun.
Okay.
You, John, are a sorry ass low life punk. Shout out, punk apostate. I don't want to see you go to hell because I sincerely care about you. I want to take you deer hunting. What the fuck? Now you are from the south, as I am. In fact, I am not far from your candy ass. I now live in Orange Beach, not that far from you. You don't believe in Almighty God. Come go hunting with me. I will see to it you get to meet him. Holy shit.
Okay, not only
He's
do we have
doing
death
an-
threats, but he's really obsessed with your ass. That's what I'm
Yeah.
getting from this.
Yeah.
Well,
He's going to do something
so-
to you before he kills you.
What the
yeah.
or after. Yuck!
in the woods. Which he says that he lives in Orange Beach, which is not that far from me. I am very far from any beach. Okay, like I'm in North Alabama. I've always been very open about being in North Alabama, which is not near a beach.
Nope. I can attest to that. I've been to your guys' house. Nice place.
Yeah.
You don't
Thank
live in
you.
your mom's basement like some people say you do. Yeah.
No, like I live 2 floors up from where a basement would be if we had basements in North Alabama.
I want to take you deer. What the fuck, dude?
That is gross.
Yeah. Patty, do you want to read this next one from Mark?
I do. Yeah, I do. Fuck off, you sack of liberal shit.
Aw, poetry.
That's just call me. I'm
yes.
a sack of liberal shit. You know, just basically just a big old bag of shit. That's all I am, guys.
Is
I don't
that
know what
almost a
y'all are
haiku?
talking about with me being cool and shit and like being inclusive and safe. I'm just liberal shit over here.
Yeah, maybe he's right.
A whole sack of it.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
a lot.
John Soretti says, "Ugh, you eat shit."
Ooh, I'll read the
know
next
how
one.
he would know that. Okay, do it.
Jesse
Fuck
Meldrum.
you.
This guy right here. He's been in prison and has definitely been violated from the rear.
So like this
Something
is
gave it away,
using,
John.
yeah, this is using rape and it's using homosexuality. Like it's layered in its like toxicity here, which I'm not going to say it's masterful, but it's definitely, I don't know if he meant it to be layered, but it's like, this is a whole thing.
And what the
Let's
fuck
unpack.
is he trying to prove?
Oh, I think that he was trying to, because it was a very liberal post that was on. I can't remember the exact post, but it was basically very critical of like conservatives and Republicans and everything like that. So he just had to add, oh yeah, he's definitely been fucked in the ass in prison. Mind you, I've never been to prison, but he apparently wants to fantasize about me being raped in prison. I don't.
Oh my god! Yikes!
Maybe he's there in prison right now.
Yeah, this
And your
this,
face is all he sees.
Yeah, this actually reminds me of that one video that a guy put up, and I wish I had downloaded it and kept it, but it was a guy who I pissed off on Facebook, but he took to YouTube to make a video, and that's the video where he's like, "I'm gonna skull fuck you." No homo.
Oh, did you put that one on here? That's the one I was expecting.
No. I wish I had the video because it was a video. It was a video that he did, and he for anybody out there that doesn't know this, I pissed him off, and he made a video where he was like, "I'm gonna drive my bike there, get the local biker gang to do a circle around us so that we can fight in the middle of it, and I am gonna skull fuck you." No homo. And like,
Yeah, hashtag
it
no
was
homo.
like a whole it was a whole thing that
He
he
had it
wanted to, like,
choreographed even. That's interesting.
Can you just imagine an entire biker gang forming a fight circle just to watch him like skull fuck me? Like, I don't see a biker gang being like, yeah, stuff your dick in his eye. Like, I just don't see them like, we want to see that thick, girthy shit in his face. Like, I mean, that just sounds like, I'm not sure if he's got like some repressed like homosexual tendencies or what, but I mean, fuck.
John, they usually do. They usually do.
Which is so sad.
Yeah.
Like,
I
think
know.
how many hurting people out there aren't getting to be themselves, and instead they've turned into these hateful little shitheads.
Yeah.
Like, I feel bad for them. Like, yes, it's funny, but I do feel bad for them. Blah. I would not want to be them. Yeah.
How insecure do you have to be in your own masculinity, you know?
Yeah.
Unfinished business.
Oh yeah. So there's a little bit more of a story with this Michael DeRosset, the one that wants to take me deer hunting.
Okay.
That Casey just reminded me of. So this was on a post, like he left this as a comment publicly on the post, but he took to DMs to personally tell us how he wanted to take me out deer hunting and like kill me and everything like that. He ended up revealing that apparently he has a brother-in-law in the FBI, gave us the guy's full name and what office in the FBI he was a part of. And like Casey ended up tagging like the FBI field office or whatnot that he supposedly was name dropping. And so like, it was a crazy fever dream of like a DM.
Wow.
Ew,
that
that
was
is like
public.
next level fucked up.
Yeah.
Oh, he dropped the name publicly.
I looked him up on LinkedIn and shit. He does work at that field office. He's been in the for 25 years.
Wow.
Mhm.
Damn. I wonder if he knows his brother-in-law's a dipshit like this.
I tried
Huh?
to call him.
Oh, apparently Casey tried to call the FBI guy.
Go KC. Yeah. Get
Yeah.
on it. Dude.
Go for it.
I hope he
But
doesn't know
yeah,
where you
so
are.
so I realized that I kind of, oh, sorry, you go ahead, Patty.
Oh no, that's all. I was just gonna. This one. I mean, this comment is just so far beyond. That was all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Way to bring it, John.
Yeah, I know, right?
Those are good.
I mean, they're good hate comments, and I used to do like a little segment on my channel where we would I would read comments and I'd like react to them and everything.
Yeah.
I haven't done one of those really in a long time, so this has actually been really fun for me, like being able to read all these things to you. And I know that like I picked some pretty egregious ones, but I tried to have like a good balance between just overt like shitty toxicity and like some of the more veiled stuff of condescension, which I guess it that's more along the lines of what y'all get. And I don't know. I find it easier to take the just outright like horrible ones. Like those are easy to dismiss as opposed to the ones that are sort of, more, I guess, passive aggressive and like
Right.
condescending and everything like that. But do you to round out here, because I know we've been going for nearly 2 hours now. I
Good.
so appreciate y'all for being on here for this long.
Yeah, it was fun.
Appreciate you having us
Yeah.
on.
But I'm wondering if y'all could give like the audience that's watching like some pointers or any kind of advice for dealing with like online commentary that's toxic, or that, you know, whenever they get personally attacked in the comments, because people are constantly dealing with this, and it can be a pretty big like emotional and psychological sort of hit for people. What's your like advice for anybody like that gets those kinds of comments?
Yeah. Well, Patty's will probably be longer. I'll let her go next. I just wanted to say, for the most part, they don't really they don't like affect me anymore. I would say, with everything I've been through in my life and been said to, who are they to me? I don't know. I just kind of brush it off, and I try to look at where the person is coming from, not like on a like a comforting level, on more of like, this is their trauma, and take some time to think about why it's affecting you, because there might be something going on within you that is reacting to it. Like, why is this? Because sometimes there are comments that actually do bother me, and I have to figure out what is it about this comment that is actually bothering me. Like, I'll dwell on it all day, and it'll actually cause me to have a shitty day, and we don't want that. So yeah, think on it. And then sometimes I actually feel better when I respond to the person. Usually it's with humor or sass. I usually go the humorous route, as I'm more the sister that, if you're having a shitty time, you just, hey, let's go out for a beer, let's drink, and let's just bitch about it. But Patty's really good at dissecting, okay, what's behind their comment here. So go ahead and take it away, Pat.
No, I mean, I think you hit the nail exactly on the head there, Nancy. It's true. I think we might not be able to help our own emotional responses to the comments, because in a lot of ways, those people have some of the same wounds that we might be carrying if we were in a high control church environment. And so in a way, they were kind of programmed by their upbringing in that to know exactly how to poke what would be the tender spots for the people that they're commenting on. And so just remembering that it's contrived and it isn't actually about you. It's about them and their traumas that they're bringing to what you're saying. And Nancy has said before too, that like, if you're not getting the comments that are kind of nasty like that, maybe you got to push farther what you're saying. Be more bold in what you're saying, right? Because you know, even though these people are acting out of their hurt and saying shitty things, like, it can show us what people need addressed. You know, it can show us where they're hurting, what parts of themselves they are repressing in order to, or like, because it's a defense thing, right? They're defending their discomfort that's trying to protect whatever it is they thought they were supposed to be. And that's where their comments are coming from. At the same time, it still does hurt, like we've said. And so it helps me to remember, we own this channel. This is our space. This is like, I'm not going to let you come in my house and shit on my floor. So similarly, you try that here, you can just go away. And I don't have to engage if I don't want to. I can just screenshot it and then block them, you know? And then I don't feed that, because I think a lot of it is like a little bit of a, I don't know the right like psychological term, but it's that they're needing to feed something in them that hurts. And they're trying to, like, by imagining they're getting a rise out of us, that's like feeding their gross energetic needs or whatever. Sorry, I don't have the right words for this, but like they're kind of getting off on it. If you know what I'm saying, like it's. And so if we just don't engage and we don't give them that energy, then we're denying them the thing that they were there to get. And so that's always been helpful for me too.
I've noticed that sometimes I just don't want to give the person the time of day, and we're like, dude, your comment is nothing to me. I don't give a shit. I got way too much going on in my life to even respond to that dumb fucking whatever you just said, you know, gibberish. But at the same time, there are some ones that really do bother me. And I actually feel better when I do respond, but I take the time to think on it first. And then I respond in a way. Sometimes, you know, ChatGPT helps to kind of steer toward. Patty has figured out some misogynistic things that have been said to us. And because ChatGPT was able to figure it out. Let the person know that they didn't get to you. You can't bother us because you're nothing to us. You don't mean anything. The cowards that hide behind computer screens anonymously, and I've heard the whole, oh, living in your mom's basement and all that. We don't care about those people. They're not here to make the world better, and we're not going to give them any time. But sometimes just a simple comment, be like, this doesn't affect me. These are your own things. Here is how I think you need to fix your shit so that you don't rub your trauma against other people. Just move over that way. All right. I'm going to continue to live my life. You do you, but not here.
Yeah, I guess my philosophy has always been a little bit simpler in that I just say fuck the haters, and
That works.
but I do like to show, like, I guess I like to demonstrate to people that, you know, even though these people are commenting in a way that they're trying to hurt you, not letting them hurt you, or at least not showing that they're hurting you, is probably the best kind of response that you can do. And it's also emotionally healthy for you to just get used to letting it roll off your back. Like, you know,
Right.
somebody says, fuck you, go eat shit, or something like that. Like, that's
You get
really
those.
easy. Yeah. That's really easy to let it roll off your back. And then there are some that are harder, that are like more insightful and try to be, you know, a bit more passive aggressive or something like that. And, you know, just being able to identify, I guess maybe that's what I like to do is give the people the ability to identify that kind of toxicity so that they can then just put it in the same pile of trash as go eat shit, you liberal douchebag, or whatever. Because it really does just deserve to be over there. If they're going to be condescending, if they're going to be toxic in any kind of way, you do not need to worry about that kind of criticism, because they and maybe y'all would know more about this than me, but I've always sort of framed it in this whole idea that, you know, they, for whatever reason, the only way that they can feel better about themselves is to tear other people down. And if you don't give them that satisfaction, then, you know, they don't feel good about themselves. And so that's why I try to respond with like humor publicly, showing people like, hey, you know, you don't take this kind of bullshit seriously. And just realize that they're saying more about themselves when they leave this kind of comment, this kind of rhetoric, because the only way they can feel better about themselves is to tear other people down. And honestly, I feel bad for them, like, about that. Like, that's sad for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This goes back to childhood. Yeah. Treat others as you want to be treated. Sometimes it doesn't get any easier, but yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Beth.
Oh, I was just going to say, it does get easier to deal with it the more you deal with it, right? So if you're a new content creator, it's a little more overwhelming. Like, what do I do now? You know, I have to respond. But I think some of them can also be used as teaching moments, like putting a comment of, here's what someone said, and I want to tell you how this shows misogynistic thinking behind this. You know, like, it's, I mean, that's similar to something you said, but like, it can very directly be a teaching moment for anyone else coming through.
Yeah. And I guess I'll just reiterate what I said, like, towards the beginning of this, is that these people are trying to shut those voices down, but those are the people that we want to hear from. The people that are most vulnerable are, and there's nothing wrong with it, they're too afraid to even sometimes go in the comments because they're afraid of what people are going to say to them. Oh, they're going to say something nasty to me, make fun of my looks, whatever it is. And then they shut down, and then they can't contribute what they were going to contribute. So yeah, I think it's very important that we at least address these kinds of things. Where do they come from? Everyone gets them, especially content creators. Patty and I were terrified to actually show our faces online. And then
we weren't going
Godless Granny happened, and we're just, okay, fuck it. We're going from audio to we're out in the world now, whatever. So, like, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? Yeah.
No, yeah, and I'm glad that y'all did, because I know, you know, one of the things that the atheist community is lacking is, you know, women creators being out there and everything, and it's a very difficult space to be in. So I know KC has a number of videos on our channel, Godless Engineer, you know, doing Today I Learned and stuff like that, and so, like, Casey's Corner. Yep. Casey's Corner. And so like, we just need more, women voices out there and everything like that. I know that it's very difficult and very hard, especially, for women in this space, because they do get heavily criticized on, looks and with the misogynistic comments and everything like that. The most that I get are like the gay comments, and then people calling me fat. Like, I remember one time I got a comment about how I needed to stop eating 3 double cheeseburgers a day.
I remember that one.
I photoshopped a picture of me where I was like, oh, and I put 3 double cheeseburgers in front of me. And so it's just like, oh, and I acting like I was just about to like deep throat all 3 of them at one time.
That's the way to do it, John. Humor, I think, is the best way to deal with shit like
Yes.
Patty, we could put little bugs over our eyes because our bulging bug eyes or whatever the guy said.
Yeah. Bulging-eyed fanatics. Yes.
Yeah.
Bulging-eyed hashtag Apostate Sisters. Bulging-eyed fanatics. Yay.
There are a couple of super chats for us to do. If anybody else would like to do a super chat, we're right here at the end, so we'll be going through the super chats if you want to get one in. Here's one, My Unfinished Journey, that says, "Hail Apostate Sisters and hail godless goddess engineer."
Ooh.
Oh, you. That's KC.
Engineer.
Goddess
engineer.
Yay, Casey. I love that.
Yeah, also an engineer. We're both engineers, so it works.
You guys are badass.
My unfinished sock says, "Don't be a toxic D-bag. Like and share instead."
Hell yeah.
I agree. The only people that are not liking and sharing are toxic D-bags. So if you don't want to be one, don't be one. Like, share, subscribe. Especially to these women right here, both Nancy and Patty over on the Apostate Sisters. Y'all have got a great thing that you're doing over there. I really appreciate y'all being, doing what you do and everything. And so I'm so glad that we were able to coordinate this and do this. So I'm going to keep watching y'all over there. Yeah, I'm going to keep watching, and I hope that everybody else here will watch too.
Some booby for the road. Someone asked for some squishy. Sorry, go ahead.
And then Nancy, are we seeing you next weekend?
Yes, you guys are both going to be at the Ark Encounter, correct?
Yay.
Yeah. Yep, we are.
Kentucky, baby, let's go. Let's go talk to Kent Hove and
and Godless Granny will be there. Kelly,
Godless Granny will be there. Yes,
yeah.
I am roomed with Ambushed Apostate. Hey, my internet wifey. Here's some titty for you, honey. I know you.
Bells Bells is our titty buddy. She's got our original squishy boob. Nancy sent it to her.
She does. I sent it to her in the mail. She's got my tit forever. All right. Yes. So Ark Encounter is going to be awesome. Yes. Everyone.
Yeah, I've got this weekend and next week I've got to finish up my speech because I don't have 10 minutes of speech just yet. But I do have an outline that I'm working off of, so I just got to sit down and finish writing it. My speech or my talk about it, which I don't know if anybody else is doing this, so it might have to change. But I was gonna do a direct connection between the Ark Encounter and the Christian nationalism we're seeing in Congress and in the Capitol and everything. So. Yeah, good. I'm going to try to connect because the reason what motivated me for that is that like I can see people being like, who cares about the Ark Encounter? Who cares about creationists? They're not affecting anything. The Christian nationalism is the real threat. And it's like, well, no, this is a symptom of the Christian nationalism. And I think people need to see that.
But they are using state funding, government funding for this stupid fucking
tax breaks. Yeah.
That's where most of the issue lies right there.
Definitely.
Spew can't talk to mythology as fact and using state funding to do it. Yes. Nope. It's you know what? When we let little things like that slide, there's gonna be more. It goes back to the whole we didn't stop Gilead, and therefore we got Gilead.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, Apostate Sisters, Nancy, Patty, thank you so much for joining me today and everything. I hope everybody watching right now, if you're not watching, if you're not watching on the Apostate Sisters channel, I hope you'll go over there to the Apostate Sisters channel and subscribe. I do have their channel linked either in the title and I think maybe in the description. I'm not sure. I set this up through StreamYard. Oh, and apparently my lovely wife Casey has been putting y'all's link in the chat. So definitely everybody
thanks,
go
Casey.
subscribe.
Thanks, buddy. Yay.
Everybody go subscribe to them. If you're watching on Facebook or Twitch, get on YouTube and look up the Apostate Sisters because you're not going to be disappointed in everything that they do. So thank you guys so much. Y'all have a lovely night. Is there anything else that y'all want to say before we leave out?
Just thank you for everything you do as well, John, and Casey for being such good support here. You guys are awesome. Been watching you a long time. This is an honor for us to be on here, and this was a really fun collab. And Suman says, go buy that Rivian, John.
She needs to buy me the Rivian. What are you talking about? Like, I did get an electric car though. I got a Hyundai Ioniq 5. Yeah.
My
so
husband just popped into the feed. I'll tell him. Cool.
Okay.
All right.
But anyways, y'all have an awesome night, awesome weekend, and all that kind of good stuff. I hope that everybody will continue to stand up, use their voice, and all that kind of good shit. And I will see everybody later. Don't forget. Oh, wait, I already did that. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thanks to everyone in the chat.
Thank you.